It's time for the Luca Rosano Show. Here's your host, Luca Rosano.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Luca Rosano Show presented by Dave and BUSTER'S Vaughn. And I'm super happy to be joined by this week's guest, Raptors 905 guard, Duane Notice. And he is the host of Take Notice. He's gotten himself in the podcasting game as well recently. Duane, how's it going, my man?
It's going good. I'm feeling good. Just started walking again, being able to move and have more mobility within my Achilles coming off this injury. So it's been good. Like you said, just starting up this podcast process has been interesting but fun.
A couple of Vaughn guys getting together for this podcast. You got to love it. There's some homegrown roots in this one. Take me through the injury and what has your day-to-day been as you recover from that devastating injury that took you out, of course?
Well, I mean, it starts back to, playing with 905 last year, the season cutting short, basically right before our playoffs and, taking a couple months off. And then from there, the CBL did a good job of putting together the summer league, that summer series, basically allowing us to play basketball after the lockdown and shutdown. So I thought it was a tremendous opportunity for me just to raise my stock and continue to get better as a basketball player and to play in front of my family and friends. And I was playing for the Hamilton Honey Badgers. And in the third game, I was having a really good game. I had like 28 points and it was the fourth quarter. It was Elam ending style of basketball. And at the end of the game, I just kind of just made a regular basketball move. I went to go run and I just fell. And when I fell, I knew something was wrong. Everybody was looking at me weird. So I knew something was different. And I got carried off. I went to the doctors in the hospital and I found out I ruptured my Achilles. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then since then, I've been recovering. I had surgery. I actually saw the same doctor that saw Kevin Durant when he tore his Achilles against Toronto Raptors in the playoff series here. So I got to see a specialist and just been recovering every day, day to day, just been going to rehab. So just doing weights, watching a lot of game film and on the basketball court 3 times a week, just doing ball handling and just shooting.
How have you stayed mentally prepared during the pandemic? I'm sure that was or has been a major setback, as you being a professional athlete. Take me through the mental game you've been going through throughout these last couple of months.
Yeah, it's different because, as professional basketball players, we tend to kind of live our lives based off of structure. And then because of the lockdown and the pandemic, it kind of changes that. And it breaks the cycle and the rhythm of what we do throughout the day. So every day we have shoot around at this time or practice at this time, and then usually eat here or there. And then after that, you might go back to the gym to lift or get some shots up if you don't have a game that day. So it's pretty routine. It's not mundane. It's pretty fun, but it's routine. And now it's just like every day is kind of unexpected. It's really unpredictable. So that does a lot to your mental. You have to learn how to kind of cope with that. And then just being inside as athletes, you're used to traveling a lot. You're used to interaction. You're used to playing in front of a crowd and being in that atmosphere. So now you're kind of being forced to be more self-aware and self-reflective because you're by yourself a lot.
So the NBA G League couldn't finish last season, obviously due to the pandemic, and it may return now either fully or partially in a bubble. We saw how effective that was for the NBA as they finished off their season. What's the status right now of the NBA G League, and will you guys be playing soon?
Well, last that I checked, after I had to work out this past week, was just that they're waiting to see how the success of the NBA start of this next season, starting in December, goes. So if that successfully happens, then in the new year, hopefully in January, February, they'll be able to kick off the G League season. But that's just what I've heard so far. I don't really know the details and the ins and outs of it, but I'm just hoping to look forward to possibly sign with the Raptors 905 again, but this time as a practice player due to my injury. And be able to kind of, still be attached to the game and still be able to be at practice and, just learn and also give my advice and continue to get better until I'm able to play next year.
That's awesome. And given everything you've had to go through, how optimistic are you that you can make a full recovery and once again return to a position that you were before all this?
I feel very optimistic. I was very fortunate to have relationships with a lot of people who have been in similar situations. My friend Miles Travis, he recovered from a Achilles tear within 7 months, and then just seeing Kevin Durant and how he responded to his injury, guys like Rudy Gay, Wesley Matthews, and then I had the pleasure of playing with Dwight Powell for Team Canada who plays with Dallas Mavericks. So we've been working out for the past like 2 months and a half, and he's in like month 8th or 9th of his recovery process. He tore his Achilles last season, and he's looking explosive. So it kind of gives me like that kind of optimistic mindset, and it gives me that motivation and inspiration that I can get back from any injury. So I feel really good. I'm actually really ahead of my process right now.
Awesome.
Kind of ahead of my protocols what the doctor kind of gave me. So I'm hitting milestones pretty quickly. So I'm pretty optimistic about that.
That's awesome to hear. I wish you a speedy recovery, and I hope to see you back on the court very, very soon, Duane. Let's switch gears now to a very eventful Raptors offseason. I know you had a close eye on it, just like all of us. Let's talk about the first major move that happened, and that was bringing back Fred VanVleet as he signed to a 4-year, $85 million contract with the Raptors. How inspiring is it to see a guy who used to play for Raptors 905 go on to get a big payday?
It's very inspiring. He came to the locker room a lot of times, and just to see him and have his humble demeanor and just be so attached to the roots of, like you said, being a part of the 905 organization and basically being an underdog and embodying that and embracing that process and then rising through the ranks to become one of the leaders of the team today in the franchise. I think it's pretty impressive, and it's just a testament to his hard work, and it shows you that you're capable of anything. And he was undrafted, and he was still able to now make the money that he's making, and he's definitely worth it and even more. So I'm very happy that he's able to get the money with the Raptors and stay with us because I feel like he's a part of our culture. Raptors and Toronto, that city kind of has that underdog mentality, especially when it comes to the rest of North American sports. So just having Fred VanVleet be the face of that, I think is awesome.
And then your former teammate on Raptors 905, Chris Boucher, went on to sign a 2-year, $13.5 million contract with the Raptors. What can you tell us about Chris Boucher from the time you spent playing with him?
I'm just extremely happy for him. First of all, he's Canadian, so that's always a plus. But also what he's been through. He endured a crazy ACL injury, and he had to go through that. And playing with the Warriors and their G League team, and then going through another injury, then coming over to us, and then having an outstanding year, my first year being a veteran leader on my team and trying to show me the ins and outs. And the Raptors fans can expect a lot. He plays hard. He's a two-way player. He's very passionate on defense as well as offense. He can shoot the ball extremely, extremely well for someone at his size and his height. And he's definitely not afraid. He competes. He blocks shots. He's very athletic. Everybody knows he has extreme bounce. He has good hands. Like, I can say about him, man. Like, he can get the rebound. He's going coast to coast, dunking it, getting an and one. All he has to do is get a little stronger, but he's doing that. So I think the Raptors are going to be excited about his play and his effort, and he showed it the last season. Whenever he got his opportunity to play in short spurts, he would show how well he can play and compete. He's very efficient in those short times. So the fact that he's getting paid that money, I know it's a life changer for him. Just knowing him and his lifestyle and his family, I know that he's very ecstatic about the opportunity to become like a multi-millionaire. So I'm happy for him about that.
That's awesome to hear. Duane, I want to ask you about another guy, Paul Watson. He signed a 2-way deal with the Raptors in January and immediately began, making a name for himself in the G League. Fans are excited to see what he has in store for this coming season. Having played with Watson as well, what can you tell us about his game and how good can this guy be?
The ceiling is not there. Like that's how good he is. Like
wow.
He has potential. He's like 6'6". He has great size. He's athletic. He dunks everything in practice. And he's an assassin. He has a lot of moves. His footwork is really good. He's a scorer. Like that's like his thing. He could score at all 3 levels. He can shoot the 3-ball really well. He can shoot mid-range, and then he has real crafty moves when it comes to getting inside the paint. Like I said, he's athletic. He's caught a couple bodies. When I first met him, I thought he was just a shooter. Like just all he could do is catch it and shoot it. But after playing with him with the G League Select team and having that opportunity, then having him get traded to come play with us, Raptors 905, just seeing his growth has just been crazy. Like his game has evolved. I think the Raptors would be excited about him. Like he could definitely turn out to be like a really good wing player for us if we allow him to get the opportunity.
That's awesome to hear. Duane, 2 of your former teammates, and Dewan Hernandez and Malcolm Miller, will not be back with the team. Have you reached out to any of those players? If so, could you give us anything on what they've said?
I haven't spoken to Dewan, but I know Malcolm is hurt, but he's also thankful for the opportunity to be a part of Toronto and the organization for so long. He's been such a focal point, especially for the team, but also in the city. Just he kind of embodies the attitude of what it means to be Canadian. And I know that he was just kind of every locker room needs someone like Malcolm Miller, like one of those guys that are going to be positive all the time, and they're going to push you, but also, like I said, they're gonna make sure they show that they support you and they care about you off the court as much as they do on it. So we're going to miss Malcolm, especially being here in Toronto, but he's going to be a friend for mine for life.
Moving on to some other players the Raptors lost, Serge Ivica and Marc Gasol. Were you surprised that the team lost both of them?
No, I mean we heard that Marc Gasol was leaving anyways. When the pandemic kind of hit or after the bubble, and Serge, I heard a little him like people were trying to recruit him for a while, just from Kevin Durant to other teams. So I was actually surprised that we drafted two guards. I thought that we were going to secure a big just in case that happened. But we were still able to pivot and get some bigs that were, probably the best bigs on the market that were available this year. So you got to commend Masai for that. But yeah, I didn't know that Serge was gonna leave. I thought but at the end of the day, he's getting good money. He's gonna be reunited with Kawhi and be in LA. And, he's part of his sponsorships and his brand continues to grow. So it might be a great opportunity for him off the court, just business wise, for Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The Serge Ibaka move shocked me, especially since he took a picture on his private jet, kind of trolling everybody, saying where he was going to go. So I thought, okay, if he's going to do that, he's going to return. But the fact that he actually did go to LA and we lose another guy to LA, I mean, that caught me off guard.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely tough, especially because he was playing some of his best basketball as a Raptor in the bubble. So. It's kind of tough to see him leave on a high note like that. But he gave so much to our organization, won a championship with us. You couldn't ask for anything more.
So you did mention you were a little bit surprised that we did go with two guards, but overall, what do you think of the names this team did bring in? Obviously, you alluded to bringing in some of the bigs, Baines, Alex Len, and then we draft our two guards. What are your overall takeaways?
I mean, I like the bigs because the style of offense that Nick Nurse has, it kind of complements that. You need someone that's like a point forward type of offense where, the big man's able to play the trail, they're able to swing the basketball, they're able to set screens and be able to do uphill DHOs and roll to the basket. We don't really need a big in Nick Nurse's offense that's going to be like a catch in the post, face-up guy. You need someone that's going to have the ability to make some shots when they pop it, which Baines could kind of step out, I think, 15 to 18 feet, and then maybe he worked on a ball, and then Alex Len, same thing. But I think that, those bigs are good for the offense. So I can't really fault us for the moves that we made when it came to that. And then when it comes to the guards, I know Malachi's a really good guard. Like, I watched him play, and he was really good. He kind of embodies the same kind of attributes that Fred VanVleet kind of has, where they're like subtle assassins on the court with that kind of character. And even just with their movements and just, Malachi being a smaller type of guard, but still being able to be effective on the offensive end, just kind of embodies what Fred VanVleet's able to do with the basketball when he's scoring.
Very well said. And I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, Duane. Overall, what grade would you give the Raptors offseason?
I would probably give them a B+, just because landing Fred was big. Like, I think that, Fred definitely felt like he could make a lot of money elsewhere, and I think a lot of teams were kind of vying for pushing for him. He could have went anywhere else, but the fact that we're able to get the money that he felt like he deserved and also keep him here, and it's a great kind of transcending kind of thing when Kyle Lowry kind of eventually does want to retire. Hopefully he does retire as a Raptor. Yeah. And we kind of have Fred VanVleet that can kind of step up, because Fred is 26, or 26, 27, so he's still, not even at the peak of his prime. So to make him kind of the guard of the future for our franchise, to be like a Kyle Lowry part 2, but even better, I think it's going to be great for us.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a big get. That was our top priority, of course, according to Masai and Bobby Webster. I would agree with you. I would say B+, at worst B-, but for people who are overreacting and saying, less than that, I think that's total you-know-what. Like, this team did make some solid moves, and I still think they will be competitive and in the thick of things in the Eastern Conference. So I'm excited to see what this upcoming season has in store. Duane, I'm having a great time talking basketball with you, and you actually have your own podcast. Why don't you tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about the podcast that you host on YouTube and all platforms? Take Notice.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, Take Notice is basically a platform where I kind of interview my athletic friends, whether it be professional basketball players in the NBA or in the WNBA, or whether it be female staff or coaches from the NCAA, the NBA or WNBA, or whether it be some NFL players and stuff like that. Just kind of, interviewing my friends and kind of getting an insight on their journeys and also their memorable moments, but also getting to know the people as well. And we just talk about social and current issues off the court. And we also talk about their influences, and we play some fun games on there too. So it's kind of a cool platform to kind of see athletes just kind of just be themselves. So yeah, check it out. It's on YouTube. It's called Take Notice, and yeah, it's under my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'll definitely link to it down below, so everybody definitely take some time and check it out. I think it's ultra important, especially today, for athletes like yourself to brand themselves. So I started watching your podcast, and I really like it. It's free flowing. The conversations are great, and I love how you can bring in different guests that do offer that unique perspective. So keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Duane, before I let you go, I do have a fun segment on the show for you, and I do this with all my guests. It's rapid fire questions. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, first question I got for you here. What age were you when you first dunked?
Ooh, 7th grade. How old are you when you're in 7th grade? I forgot.
Damn, you were pretty damn young. Next question here. Player you grew up watching who inspired you the most?
Allen Iverson.
That's great. If you could have a one-on-one game against any current or former player, who would it be?
Ooh, one-on-one? Probably Michael Beasley right now.
Nice. What's your the most memorable moment of your career thus far?
Final Four for sure. University of South Carolina making it to the final March Madness. That was probably the best moment beating Duke with Jason Tatum and Luke Kennard and those guys, Grayson Allen, beating Marquette with Marcus Howard and those guys. And then, beating Baylor, beating a very talented Florida with Chioza, who's in the NBA, and with Dev. And then also, getting an opportunity to play Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Was also pretty cool as well. Playing against a historic school, especially a school that's been so kind to Canadians. And then, playing on that level and just being a part of that atmosphere, I'll never forget it. And then having our girls team also make it, I think that, the girls team won it that year. So having us, we won a round, they won a round, and we won a round, and they Sweet 16, and we're Final Four, they're Final Four, and then we lose and they win the whole thing. It was, so cool for our state and our city and then also our school.
Yeah, that March Madness run is when I first got familiar with you, and that's when we all took notice of you and what that program did. So that was a very, very special year. What's the best movie you've watched during quarantine?
Fight Club.
Fight Club?
Yeah, I mean I've watched it before, but during quarantine I watched it again, and I was like, man, Brad Pitt and Ed Norton, they really killed that movie.
Yeah, that's a classic indeed. Your favorite spot to eat from?
My favorite spot to eat from? Any sushi place, really.
Can't go wrong with that. And then last one here, Duane. What's one hidden talent that you have?
I'm a professional bowler.
Damn.
Everybody knows it.
That's awesome. You don't hear too many people bowling nowadays. That's great. We gotta do a segment once all this is over of us bowling.
Exactly. I'm telling you. Everybody who's doubted me, I'm at least a 230 for sure. 30.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, Duane, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I really appreciate you joining the show. And everybody go check him out. The links to his work's going to be down below. And keep the rehab coming, man. Again, I wish you all the best. And hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yeah, thank you. We definitely need you on my show too. But I appreciate the chance to get on your show.
Thanks so much, Duane. Take care.